Hi there. We're going to focus on adding fractions. This video is going to focus on fractions that are not mixed numbers. We will handle common denominators and uncommon denominators, or fractions that have different denominators. There will be a separate video for dealing with mixed numbers. The first example we have here, we notice that both denominators are the same. And when you are adding fractions, you're actually keeping the denominator and you're just adding the numerator. And remember, the numerator is the portion on the top of the fraction and the denominator is the portion below the bar that we have here. So what I do is I keep the denominator and I add 1 plus 7 in the numerator, or 8/9. This example is as simplified as possible. The 8 and the 9 don't share any common terms, and so I'm finished at this point. Looking at the next example, again, I keep the denominator and I add the numerator, and I'm showing a little bit intermediate step so you can see what I'm doing there with that addition. 1 plus 5 is 6, and here I have 6/9. 6/9 is not its most simplified form because there is a common factor to both the numerator and the denominator. So I want to reduce this. And the way in which you reduce is you divide out whatever common factor the 6 and the 9 both share. Now, you could take out small pieces or you could go with the largest number that is common. It just depends on how comfortable you feel with your fluency with mathematics. So 6 and 9 both share 3. So I'm going to divide out 3 from both the numerator and the denominator. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. 2/3, 2 and 3 are relatively prime. They do not share any common factors other than 1, so I am simplified here. You'll notice that some people will take, let's say I have 6/9, and they want to reduce it, so they'll do a slash through the number and they'll rewrite 2 and 3. They're just skipping this step of showing what the common factor was that was being divided out. Now we're moving into a situation where our denominators are not common denominators. I have 1/2 and I have 1/3. So I have one pizza that's sliced by half and I have one pizza that's sliced into thirds. And they're not equal sizes. So I can't really add the two of them. I don't just go 2 plus 3 is 5, 1 plus 1 is 2, and I'm done. What I need to do is I need to get them to where I'm comparing apples to apples or oranges to oranges. I can't compare apples and oranges. So what I need to do is I want to find a common denominator. I want to find a number that both 2 and 3 are factors of, so that I can then multiply these fractions to make them have a common denominator. Now, 2 and 3 are relatively prime. They don't share any numbers. And so, and this is an instance where the common denominator, the LCD or least common denominator, the LCD is 6. That means that the number that 2 and 3 both go into that is the smallest multiple of 2 and 3 is 6. 2 is a factor of 6, 3 is a factor of 6. So what I need to do is I have to figure out, what am I going to multiply this 1/2 by to get to 6? And what am I going to multiply this 1/3 by to get to 6? I like to stack my numbers and write it out on the side. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Let's say I have 1/2 plus 1/3, and I need to multiply by that number, that common factor. I need to multiply by that number so I can get to that common denominator. So what you're doing here is you're trying to figure out 2 times what gets me to 6. 2 times 3 gets me to 6, and I have to make sure that I'm multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by that same number so that I'm not changing the value of what I've got. Then I ask myself, 3 times what is 6? And that's 2, so then I'm going to multiply by 2 over 2. Now multiplying the numerator across, 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 2 is 2. And now I have a situation where I'm adding common denominators. This is 3/6 plus 2/6. Keep that 6, add the numerator. Okay. I could have multiplied this by 3 over 3 and 2 over 2, but then it gets a little messy when you're adding. That's why I like to do it off to the side and kind of line it up so that I have a place to multiply by whatever I need to get to my common denominator. Now, 1/4 and 1/6, again, not common denominators, but I could just multiply 4 and 6. 4 times 6 is 24, and that would work. That's a common denominator, but it is not the least common denominator. What you are looking for is you are looking for the smallest number that both 4 and 6 divide into. You could list all of the multiples of 4, so I could write 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on. I could write 6, 12, 18, and so on. I could break down 4 and 6 into their prime factorization and use that as a tool to help me get to the least common denominator. Or you could use upside down division. I'm a fan of upside down division. I've done a video on it. It helps you find the LCD. It helps you find a GCF. I feel like upside down division is pretty helpful in a lot of situations. So that's my favorite. But whatever method you want to use, it's always better to try and find the least common denominator, because if you don't, you're going to wind up having to simplify at the end. So I like to simplify first, make it a little bit easier on myself in the beginning. It's not wrong if you use the different common denominator. It just means that there's a little bit more work to do. In this instance, the smallest number that 4 and 6 both go into is 12. That means that I'm going to take 1/4 plus 1/6, and I'm going to need to multiply so that my denominator is 12. So again, I ask myself, 4 times what is 12? That's 3, so I multiply by 3 over 3. 6 times what is 12? That's 2, that means I multiply by 2 over 2. And 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 2 is 2. And now what I have is an addition problem of 3/12 plus 2/12, which is 5/12. And that is my answer. I hope this was helpful for you. Thanks for watching.